My mother had me at 14 then gave me up for adoption. 20 years later we reunited and fell in love. My mother was 13 when she slept with an 18-year-old guy. He ended up leaving town as soon as she got pregnant. My mother originally wanted to keep me but her parents told her they would disown her unless she puts me up for adoption. I was put up immediately upon birth and took in by a beautiful family. The family had a different skin color than me so I realized I was adopted at a young age, but never had any true desire to find my mother. I lived with the family until I was 18, when I moved out. When I turned 19, I decided to try to seek for my mother. I had absolutely no feelings for her, no emotional attachment, I just wanted to meet her. After some tracking down I found her. She lives on the other side of the globe. Luckily for me, she has an Instagram that was public, and I was able to figure out by the pictures it was her. I sent her a text explaining who I was, as well as saying I have no attachment to her, I'd simply like to meet her. She said something of the same. Having missed my entire childhood, she said she did not feel like my mother at all, but if I got a plane ticket over, she would gladly accommodate me during my stay and meet up with me. Over the next 6 months, I saved up enough for a plane ticket and money for a week's stay, as well as enough to rent a hotel for a week in case anything goes wrong. I flew over and she picked me out. We hugged, but it felt very cold, like we were strangers. We got back to hers and started talking. I filled her in all about my life, where I work, told her I have no plans for college etc. She did the same, and that's when I found out why I was adopted, and that she had me at such a young age. This is the moment I cried, and I felt a connection towards her, not a motherly one, but a romantic one. This was a woman who had been through so much, but I have never met her, and do not see her as a mother. Instead, I saw a beautiful, single 34-year-old who had been through so much. My tears made her well up too and we cried in each other's arms. I felt a connection between us and I'm sure she did too, as we looked at each other's lips after pulling away from the hug, but we did not kiss. The rest of the trip went fine as we caught up and went out on little lunch dates and whatnot. When it was time to leave, she gave me a kiss on the cheek in the airport, and I got a stiffy from it. Over this week my feelings for her had really become noticeable. We stayed in contact, my feelings for her grew stronger, and I found myself fantasizing about her at night sometimes. Another 3 months later, she was the one to fly out. I had a small apartment in which I lived alone and told her she was welcome to stay. She would be staying here for 5 days. On the third night is when it happened. It was the first time we had shared alcohol together, maybe 3 glasses of wine each, and she started rubbing my thigh slowly. I looked at her, and thought to myself that this is wrong, but I couldn't help but see her as a romantic partner, not my mother. I leaned in and kissed her, and she kissed back. One thing led to another and we had intimacy on my single bed. My post-nut didn't even kick in, afterwards, I was just happy. We discussed it next morning, and told each other we would not rush this, and looked into potential therapy, as in the back of our minds this is wrong, but considering we never saw each other as son and mother, we couldn't help but feel it. She flew out at the end of the 5th day, and we have been texting ever since. Our texts can get spicy at night, and we mutually confessed feelings for each other, but due to the long distance, we're not sure if we can make this work.